Okay, now we're gonna feed the starter. So I pulled the starter out of the fridge. You can see it's got a little tab on it. It says August 28th on here. That was the date that I fed this starter, and I have used a little bit out of it. I used a bit out of it yesterday, but I've got this here. So we're gonna take this out, and I've got a fresh jar. So this is how we're gonna just renew our starter and put it back in the fridge for the next time we bake. So got this jar here. So what I'm gonna do is just take a spoon, it's very rough. I don't ever measure this one. Some people measure it very particularly, I do not. So I'm just gonna put it into the jar. It's pretty gooey and messy. I'm gonna set this aside. Now this will become discard. This can go into a jar that I have in the fridge that is just added to every time I bake. And there are some discard recipes that are great, and that's what I will use it for. So this jar is now done with being a starter, and we're starting a new starter, just feeding it so that it's ready to go. So I'm going to put this on the scale, turn on the scale and zero it out to grams, and then I'm going to add 60 grams of water to it. So I got this water from when I was making the other bread. So I'm just going to add 60 grams water. Okay, perfect. There's 60. And then we're going to take 60 grams of flour. So just zero out our scale again. I zero it out between, you could just add to it, but sometimes it'll shut off if it's not been active. So you don't want to be in the middle of measuring something and have it shut off. Although do pay attention to what each measurement comes to in case it does, and then you can just add from there. So we're doing 60 grams of flour in here. Okay, there's 60, and that's all that we measure in. So we can turn off our scale, set it aside, and then I use a knife to stir this. I find it's the easiest to do. And just get it so that it's all mixed in. And then this will go into the fridge as a starter to take from for the next time that you bake. The other option with this, and this is also how you do your starter the night before, is you take it from the fridge just like we did, you mix it into a jar, mix it like this, and then you leave it out overnight. What I do is I leave it in the microwave overnight, just because if we have the air conditioning on or it's hot in the house or something, it'll change the temperature. Closed into the microwave seems to work really, really good. So that is all mixed. Again, make sure you wipe these down and put them in cold water so that they're easy to clean. That's what your starter is going to look like. Some people put an elastic or mark the jar here so you can see if you're leaving it out overnight or even in the fridge. So now what I'm going to do is I put this lid on. I'm going to put a new tab on with the date for today. And I do try and use it, or at least feed it, within 2 weeks. I don't like to leave it longer than that. So within 2 weeks, if you're not baking, feed it, put a new jar into the fridge, and then the rest that's left is your discard. So that's how that works. The other option is when you are baking bread and you have a little bit left over. I'll show you that right now. In these jars here, from what I did earlier today, there is some starter left in here. You can also use this to start another one. You measure a spoon out, add your 60 grams of water, 60 grams of flour. If you don't do that, you can take this along with the other discard that was in the fridge or that you took for the starter, and then you just add this to the discard jar. So you'll end up with quite a bit of discard, and there's lots of different good recipes you can use.